Hello everyone! So it's been a little while since I uploaded and spoke to all of you. That's because I have been focusing most of my time and energy on creating my gouache course for Strathmore. I'll post more details about it very soon so that you can know where to check it out if you're interested in watching it. But in the meantime, I thought I would do a little sketchbook tour because I finally have more time to focus on YouTube again, and I recently finished this sketchbook, so I thought I would share it with you all. You can find all the information to what sketchbook it is in the description below. Those of you who've been watching me for a while would probably have guessed what it is already. But I won't ramble on too much and let's jump straight into this tour. So as you can see, I've customized the cover. I've actually done both sides. These are the last two things I created in this sketchbook. I like doing that at the end of finishing a sketchbook just because it makes me feel like I finished a project and it feels all rounded and pretty. The cover of this sketchbook is actually black already and I like that look, so I decided to keep something along those lines. And I decided to go for some nightscapes in gouache. I found some lovely reference images on Pinterest and just quickly did a few paintings on the top of my covers because why not? So as you can see, this first page is all doodles and quick little drawings. I'm sure a lot of you will relate to the fear of starting a new sketchbook and how intimidating that can be. So I usually force myself to just loosen up, get the creative juices flowing and doodle along without really trying to think too much about what I'm drawing. I also take a lot of notes because whenever I do that, I get a lot of my ideas. So this is what you see here. Just loads of notes about the kind of things that I might explore a little bit further in the future. So as you can see, this is again similar doodles to the first page. I think I did it on the same day I did the first page actually. And this is again me just trying to loosen up and warm up and get everything flowing and get myself energized to do some more in-depth drawing. And then these are just some quick portrait studies because I felt really rusty drawing faces. So I just quickly did a few portraits from photo reference. And this is where I started getting a little bit more into creating my own concepts again and just finding more ideas that I would like to paint in the future or that I would like to do more in-depth sketches for. And I forgot to set the drawing in the next page, so my sketchbook is covered in pencil dust. Yay! So this is the sketch that is tainting my whole sketchbook with a nice little grey mist. I might have to put some fixative on there. I was sure I had, but maybe I didn't put enough because as you can see there's a lot of charcoal and very dark pencil on there, so it might have needed a few more coats than what I put on there. Now this is a sketch that I wanted to finish for a long time and never really got around to it. The thing is, I know exactly what I want to paint here. So this was mostly to figure out the position of the different characters, but I don't actually need to finish it completely because I know what the composition is going to be like, I know what the concept is going to be like, and I have a pretty definite idea of what I want to do. But it would have been nice to finish it as a big spread because I quite like it when 2 pages are covered with a concept, but hey, it happens, and this is a sketchbook, so it is for unfinished experiments anyway. This one actually became a painting. I'll put it up on the screen, but it was during a time where I was really unwell. I was very blocked, I was in a deep rut. I was very, very unhappy with my art. I just felt like I was going nowhere. I felt like I was losing all my motivation and my skill and my desire to do anything. It's an idea I had for a long time. I had written it down in my idea book, but never explored it. And then during that time where I felt really unwell, that's when the concept started speaking to me and when I explored it further. So I always found that really interesting. These are thumbnails for a big painting that I want to do very soon. I say that about pretty much everything I, I ever show you. So yeah, don't get your hopes up, because I'm incorrigible when it comes to revisiting things. I just get new ideas and then want to do those, and then I have such a short attention span when it comes to my own ideas. So yeah, but it's got lots of note takings, and I have refined the idea to a point where I would quite like to explore it. This is another one. Again, this is another one I want to re-explore. It will look completely different once I paint it, but but this is another one that I really want to paint big. At the moment, I just want to paint big things, but I haven't had the time to do that, so I'm going to try and do that more in the next few months. These two, I think you may have seen me paint that one in a video, I'm not entirely sure, but it became this painting here, which you can get prints of in my shop if you're interested. And this was another one along the space theme that I seemed to be into. My themes go in kind of series that I don't know why, I just get inspired by a theme and then I paint quite a few pieces related to that theme. It's not intentional, it just seems to be the way it goes, which is fine by me. But this was an exploration of a concept that I still want to paint, but again, who knows if I ever will. This is probably the next big piece I'm going to do, and I'm serious when when I'm saying this. It's not I mean it when I say I want to revisit a piece, but this piece is something that I've been planning for a long time. Those of you who've been with me since Inktober 2018 will remember this concept, and I love this idea, and I really want to paint it very soon. So these were the thumbnails to figure out exactly how I wanted to draw the composition, how I wanted the characters to interact. I put a poll on Patreon and asked my patrons to help me decide. And yeah, I'll get to painting that very soon, I think. This one, I'm pretty sure I have a video of me drawing it. I just wanted to draw a 2-page spread and use some inks and some gouache and do some creatures, because I haven't actually done some creatures in a long time and I miss it. It's very experimental. I was quite happy with it at the time I did it. I'm not sure how I feel about it now. I'm not sure where I was going with it, but it was a nice little exercise. This guy right here, well, this gal right here, is a redraw of this one. I thought this one looked a bit too stiff, and as I said, I want to paint this concept, so I revisited the position, the pose of my character. I wanted to finish the drawing and kind of make it look a little bit more like what my final sketch will hopefully look like, but I kind of got bored. It happens. This is another one. I mean, you know, take a shot every time I say that I want to paint something. Don't actually. You'll poison yourself. But this is something I want to paint again. I'm just repeating myself at this point, and it starts to feel hollow. So this drawing is a concept I really like, and I really want to revisit it. It's not very obvious what's going on in the actual sketch. Basically, she's kind of translucent, and in the final piece I want all these hands to be trying to grab her and kind of going through her or passing through, something like that. So we'll see how that turns out. I think something that will translate better with a painting than with a sketch. I wasn't entirely sure how to draw it at the time, but yeah, that's another concept I would quite like to paint. I've said this so many times it becomes boring. I want to do another series of hands. For those of you who've been following me for a little while on YouTube, you may remember that I used to do some hand series where I would just do a few paintings of hand concepts, and I haven't done that in a while, and I would just always really enjoy those, and they're less pressure, they're more simple pieces, they don't take me as long as big paintings. So I want to revisit that. So this one here I have already painted, I'll put it on the screen. This one I'm not entirely sure what I want to do with it. I think I might do some plants growing out of it or something coming out of the hollow wrist. This one I'm not sure if I'm actually going to paint, we'll see. I feel like it could look really cool as a sculpture, but that's another thing I say. I keep saying I want to do sculpting, and then I never find the time to actually do it. And this sketch was actually tattooed on someone, by someone. The person who got it tattooed was super, super lovely and insisted on paying me for it. And I don't, like, I'm fully open to people tattooing my designs. It's not something I have a problem with. I don't require any compensation of any kind. I do ask to be credited properly whenever it's shared on social media or anywhere that other people might see it. I want it to be very clear that it's my design, obviously. And I love seeing pictures of the tattoos done, but I have no other requirements other than that. And the person who got this tattooed sent me pictures and paid me a fair amount for it. And it was so lovely and so appreciative. And so shout out to you if you're watching this. I don't know if you will, but if you are absolutely amazing, and you were the ideal kind of supporter. You really, I felt really appreciated and recognized, and it was very sweet. Thank you so much. And the tattoo was amazing, so thank you so much. Anyway, this guy you may have seen in one of my very early 2019 videos. I know sometimes I do things that are quite different from my regular work, but sometimes it's just, you just want to, you know. Lots of artists have a lot of diverse interests, and sometimes you just feel like doing something a little bit different, and this was mine. I really like this drawing. I think I'm cleaning it up at the moment on Photoshop and redrawing it digitally so I can add it on t-shirts on my Redbubble and stuff. This little lady became one of my Patreon postcard designs, and then I felt weird having a blank space there, so I just filled it with some hand studies. More sketches of hands. I painted this one. It's very dirty now because of the ink on the other side, but I actually made a full piece for this one. It'll be in a video soon once I want to paint 2 more hands and then just have the video like I used to, with like 3 or 4 paintings in it. So I'll have that up in the next few weeks, I think. And this is an unfinished hand concept that I need to finish drawing and then paint, hopefully. Nope, I'm going the wrong way. Here we go. My cover's coming off completely. Anyway, some loose sketches. Again, those of you who were with me for my 2018 Inktober series may remember one of my drawings in the series included an eye in a conch shell, and at the time of the painting I actually really didn't like it. I didn't like how I had done it, so I had covered it up, and a few people in the comments were like, no, we like the eye, and I liked it too. I like the idea of an eye in various types of shells, so I redrew it here, and I'll probably paint it at some point and just make a sticker out of it or something like that, just because I find it quite a fun concept. So I tried a mouth in there too, and then this. Sometimes it's a bit difficult for me to explain what's going on in my own drawings. This one, I really like this drawing. I want to paint it. I want it to be a little more complex than this. Not much more, because I don't want to take away from the simplicity of the idea. I think it just works nicely on its own like that. But I want to add something, maybe in the background, have a slightly more complicated background, just to make it more obvious that it's the background showing through here. Something like that. We'll see. I'll explore it further. Another hand drawing that was really difficult to render properly with pencils. I really struggled with showing what this one actually represents, and I'm not entirely sure it's actually obvious right now, but I love this idea and I want to revisit it, and hopefully when I paint it, it will actually be more obvious what's going on in it. We'll see. And then you can see that from pretty much this drawing, I'd say. I started adding these black boxes behind my drawings, just blacking them out with India ink. And I love that look so much. I'm completely addicted to doing that to all my drawings now. So pretty much most of the sketches for the end of this sketchbook will kind of look like this because I really like it. Let me know if you'd be interested in having prints of those. I feel like if I do enough of these kinds of drawings, I might actually do like a small booklet or like a zine of them, just because I just find that it makes them look all cohesive, which appeals to my control freak mind. Yeah, more black boxes drawings. My sketchbook is like, the problem with Indio ink is that look at that, I washed my hands after I rubbed like the black earlier in the video and I'm already black again. I'm covered in like pencil dust, and this Indio ink is great, but it does rub off quite a lot, so all the black marks you see. Anyway, it's not interesting. Why am I rambling about that? Another concept I would quite like to paint, but I definitely want this one to be a lot more complicated than just this. We'll see. I might make the masks shattered or broken, who knows, we'll see if I even ever redraw it. And then this one is just a really quick image that I wanted to paint. I'm not entirely sure if I will, we'll see. I was actually kind of satisfied with just having it as a sketch. This was reference from an Instagram model, which I'll post a link below if you like to check out their pictures. They're really, really good. This one doesn't really come across as well as I was hoping. The person is supposed to be, obviously it's ivy, so I wanted the person to look like they were kind of getting invaded by ivy. I have a different idea along this theme that I'll explore, I think, in a future sketch. But I don't particularly like this sketch, and I don't particularly dislike it. It's one of those sketches where I feel like there's potential, but I'm not fully satisfied with how I've explored it yet. This one was a video, a sketch with me video that you can check out here in one, I think it's here, is it? Well, anyway, you can check it out, it's on my channel. I'm into translucent things. This sketch was actually featured in my favorite supplies video, I believe. I used it to kind of demonstrate the supplies I was talking about and also to fill in the blanks in the video. I really like this idea. I have no idea if I will actually do anything with it, but I like that sketch. This sketch, as inconsequential as it might look, was actually me experimenting with the pose of my character for my 2017 Inktober Drawing Redraw, which you can find on my channel and which you can get prints of on my shop if you're interested. I really like my redraw. I was really happy with it. It was really fun and interesting. And a lot of you guys seem to like it too, which was really cool. This sketch actually became this painting. And I have a whole vlog centered around it where I paint it and I also show you a little bit of my life and stuff like that, which hopefully the footage worked out for. I will see when I get round to editing it, hopefully later this month. But I'm really happy with this painting, although it does still feel like a bit of an attempt, no, a sketch, I suppose. No, not a sketch. It just feels like an unfinished painting. I love it. I'm really happy with how it turned out. I love the concept, but I want it to be bigger and more ambitious. And basically at the moment, that's what I want my pieces to be. I like doing smaller paintings, but I'm pining for big, complicated paintings at the moment. And this is a concept that I'd quite like to revisit as a bigger, more complicated one in the future. Probably won't happen. We'll see. Another black box sketch. And then another one, where I was experimenting with lighting. I'm not entirely sure I succeeded, but I like the idea of it. So I'm not entirely sure it's something that I would want to revisit as a painting, but you never know. At least I have all these ideas now in the sketchbook, and you never know what concept might speak to you in the future, which is why I tend to write down all my ideas. I have a book that I just write down any and all ideas I have. Some of them I never ever revisit, and some of them I didn't like when I wrote down, and then a few months later I actually feel inspired by some stuff like that. So this sketchbook goes along with my idea book. So these two are actually sketches for 2 coasters that I was painting for a show. I was invited to participate in a show in Eugene, Oregon in October, organized by Out of Step Books, which is a publishing company who's also opening their first gallery. They're having their first show in August actually. And they were really kind and really liked my work and asked me if I would be interested in participating in their coaster show. They sent me coasters. And these were my sketches. I wasn't sure what I was going to paint on the coasters, so I just tried stuff out. And I'll have a video, if you're interested, on me painting those coasters. So this is more of me experimenting with my idea for the coasters. This concept I actually did end up painting on one of the coasters, and then this one I actually didn't do in the end. I did something completely different that I personally prefer, but is a little bit more whimsical and silly, but I'm really happy with it. But I'll show you in the video where I paint the coasters. And here you go. This is the end of the sketchbook. This was the, oh dear. This was the last sketch I did. I did a little bit of a variation on the black box theme thing I had going on, where I decided to do an ellipse, and because I decided to do the ellipse without any measuring instruments and just all by hand, it's very wonky, but who cares. I really want to paint on like different formats, like weirdly shaped canvases and stuff like that. I think it's always quite fun. So I'm probably gonna try and draw into different shapes in the future because it's quite interesting. And then this last one, I wanted to draw white on black because I haven't done that in a while. And those of you who've been around for a while and have seen my previous sketchbook tours, you may recognize this concept. This is me revisiting that idea in a very different way, just to see how I felt about it looking very, very different. I'm not sure yet. I'm gonna keep exploring the idea because I want to paint it, and then we'll see where it goes. I'll keep you updated, obviously. But yeah, here's the cover again because I quite like how it looks. So there we go. This is my sketchbook tour. What dates were they? Okay, so it took me about 7 months to finish the sketchbook. I started it on January 2019 and finished it at the end of July. So yeah, here you go. Again, if you follow me on Instagram, you probably have seen most of these sketches, but there were probably a few that you hadn't seen yet, unless you're a patron, stuff like that. But thank you very much for all your love on Instagram when I post my sketches. Thank you for watching my sketch with me videos if you have. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that you are all well, and I'll have hopefully another video for you next week. But if you really want to keep up to date with my videos, I recommend turning on notifications because I'm probably going to try and not stress too much about videos. They have been a big source of stress for me. Just before I left for holiday, I was in a bit of a dark place, so I'm just going to take it easy and do it as it feels good and not put too much pressure on myself. And so if you want to be sure that you don't miss any of my uploads, I recommend turning on notifications and subscribing if you haven't already. But thank you so much for joining me for this video. I hope that you are all really, really well, and I'll see you very soon. Bye everyone.